Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming back to my channel and hanging out with me today. I'm going to talk about resentments and how to work through resentments. And this is a pretty comprehensive deep dive. So what I did was I prepared slides like I've done in my other videos, and I'm going to go through each of the slides, discuss the different areas, and then go back through them with an example so that you have an idea of what to do and what to look for if you are interested in working through a resentment or several resentments yourself. Let's see, go. Working through resentments, personal deep dive. This is definitely a deep dive. I think working through resentments is a key and integral part of shadow work. And it can also be very telling and very informative about deep-seated fears that you have and that you carry. I am resentful at so-and-so. Now, this could be a person. This could be a group. This could be an institution, like a church or the government. You know, you can be resentful at anyone or anything. So I am resentful at blank for blank, and then you list your resentment. And then you ask yourself, how does this resentment affect and I'm going to go through 6 different areas in your life that resentments can affect. So how does this resentment affect my self-esteem? What is my belief about who I am? And then you list I am and describe how it is that you believe yourself to be. Then contemplate and think about, what is my fear concerning this resentment? What is my fear related to my self-esteem? Next is pride. Where does this resentment affect my pride? What do I want others to think about me? How do I want other people to see me? Other people should see so-and-so treating me like, and then list how you feel that this person or institution should treat you. And then again, what is my fear? How does this resentment affect my intentions or my ambition? What are my plans or intentions? What do I want to happen? List what you want. And then again, think about what fear may be underlying. Personal security. How does this resentment affect my personal security? What do I need to be safe or okay? And why? And again, looking at your fears. Personal relations. How does this resentment affect my personal relations? What are my expectations of myself and or others? What are my current beliefs about men and women and how they should act, behave, or treat me? So write down your expectations, and then write down what you think a real man should always be or is, and a real woman should always be or is. And then again, the fear. How does this impact my life or my livelihood? You know, oftentimes when we have a resentment, it clouds our judgment and it affects our performance at home or at work or in our relationships. And it can affect our livelihood if you're taking time off of work, or if your mind is scattered and you're not putting in your best performance. My resentment interferes with, affects, or compromises, and then list those things. And again, what is my fear? Now, disregarding everyone or the person who you are resentful at entirely, just completely set them aside. Consider and contemplate before, during, and after the events that caused the resentment. You're thinking about yourself. You're only looking at yourself. And it helps to have a very deep level of self-honesty. And that can be developed by looking at yourself without judgment and without attachment to certain behaviors or feelings or actions. Where was I concerning this person I'm resentful toward? Where was I self-seeking? Where have I been acting on my own behalf? Where may I have had self-centered beliefs or behaviors or actions concerning this resentment and this person I'm resentful toward? Where have I been selfish? Where was I thinking only of myself? Where do I have self-centered thoughts, motives, or attitudes? Dishonesty. Where may I have been misrepresenting myself or my reality? Where was I lying or omitting, deluding myself or others, or pretending or acting as if? Afraid. Where have I been afraid? Where was I not afraid of not getting what I want or losing what I have? And then describe the fears that have kept you in bondage with this resentment. Where was I wrong or at fault or to blame? How am I responsible for what happened? What was my contribution? And if I was victimized, did I allow myself to continue to be victimized? You know, sometimes we don't have a responsibility for the way someone treats us the first time. However, if we continue to allow it to happen, that's our contribution, is allowing. Where was I hurtful to this person in the past? What harm may I have caused? Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially, or other? Where was I hurtful to or caused harm to other people? Concerning this resentment, where may I have been hurtful or have caused harm to others? List all your fears discovered and your areas of improvement. And here is a freedom from resentment prayer or mantra. Dear God, higher power, source, universe, whatever you choose to call God, so-and-so, like me, is an imperfect person. Please help me show so-and-so tolerance, patience, acceptance, and compassion. Release me from being angry. Enable me to stop clinging to this resentment. Please show me what needs to be healed within me. Please show me how to take a kind, tolerant, and compassionate view of so-and-so. Help me accept reality as it is and show me how I can be helpful to so-and-so. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Gratitude is so important when we're working through resentments and deep diving. And I would really encourage you to be incredibly gentle. We are so hard on ourselves. And when we're working on this deep stuff, a lot of us can tend to take a baseball bat and beat ourselves up for even having the behavior. But I really encourage you to be so gentle with yourself and be so loving, unconditionally loving. It is so much more conducive to healing than being hard and judgmental with yourself. Okay, so let's do an example. I am going to use a pretty hefty example. You can use these steps to work through any type of resentment. Like, for example, say someone at work said something hurtful to you. You can use it for that. The example I'm going to use is my partner. And this was way before we had worked through this kind of stuff. So, my husband and I have a very, very strong, very loving relationship. And I want to share how we worked through this stuff. So, I'm resentful at my partner for name calling or verbal abuse. How does this resentment affect my self-esteem? What is my belief about who I am? Well, I am his partner who loves him dearly and takes care of him and treats him with kindness and respect, regardless of what mood I'm in. What is my fear? My fear is that I am not loved in the same way that I love him. Where does this resentment affect my pride? What do I want others to think about me? How do I want others to see me? Others should see my partner treating me respectfully, kindly, and with love. What is my fear? My fear is that people will see me as a weak victim if they witness my husband treating me like that. 3, how does this resentment affect my intention and ambition? What are my plans or intentions, and what do I want to happen? I want my partner to be kind, respectful, loving, and have self-control. I want to be loved like I love him. What is my fear? My fear is that I'm not worth changing for. Personal security. What do I need to be safe or okay? I need to know that my partner has self-control. Why? Because verbal abuse, especially name calling, is very triggering, and it triggers PTSD from when I was a child. What is my fear? My fear is that the verbal assaults will never end. Personal relations. What are my expectations of myself and or others? What are my current beliefs about men and women? I expect myself to stand up to the name calling, and I expect my partner to stop. A real man should always treat his wife with kindness, love, and respect. A real woman should always be forgiving, gentle, kind, and respectful. What is my fear? My fear is that I'm not worthy of respect or that I don't respect myself. Performance or livelihood. How does this resentment impact my life or my livelihood? My resentment interferes with, affects, or compromises my ability to talk to him in a way that he is receptive. It affects my performance at work. It affects my performance at home. My fear is that I can't move forward financially because too much energy is spent on recovering from the abuse. So now, disregarding my partner entirely, consider and contemplate before, during, and after the events that caused this resentment. Where was I self-seeking? Where was I acting on my own behalf? Where did I have self-centered beliefs, behaviors, or actions? I was trying to control the situation and prevent him from leaving. I had very deep-seated abandonment issues from experiences that I've had in my childhood with my father. Where was I selfish? Where was I thinking about myself or had self-centered thoughts, motives, or attitudes? I was selfish by not standing up for myself because I was trying to control the situation. I wanted him to stay with me, and I feared that he would leave if I stood up for myself. Dishonest. Where was I misrepresenting myself or my reality? I was hiding it from other people, including my children. I was making excuses for the behavior. I was making it seem a lot less hurtful than what it was. Where was I afraid of not getting what I want or losing what I have? I was afraid of him leaving. Like I said, I had very deep-seated abandonment issues, and I felt that if I stood up for myself, that would mean that he would leave. Where was I at fault or wrong or to blame in this situation? How was I responsible for what happened, and what was my contribution? Now, I have to say that I had been working through this resentment for a couple of years, and I could not see my contribution. I was so deep in victim mindset that it was not visible to me at all whatsoever. So just keep in mind that if you're working through a really deep-seated resentment, just know that this takes time, and it can take months or even a year or more to be able to see all of the layers and facets of it. So where was I at fault? My contribution was that I allowed it. I allowed myself to be victimized over and over and over. Where was I hurtful to my partner? What harm may I have caused this person in the past? There was a time when we got into an argument and I was so triggered that I ended up pushing him. And my poor behavior was a bad example for him. Thankfully, my children didn't see anything. Yeah, but it's very eye-opening to look at yourself and see where you are contributing to the issues in your relationship. Where was I hurtful to or caused harm to other people? I believe that I hurt my kids by allowing it to go on for as long as it did. As a very poor example to set for children, to allow someone to treat you that way. List all fears discovered. So, my fears are that I'm not loved the same way that I love, that people will see me as a victim, that I'm not worth changing for, that the name calling won't stop. I'm a fear of lack of courage to stand up for myself, a fear that I am not worthy of respect or that I don't respect myself, and a fear that I can't move forward financially because too much energy is expended on recovering, and also a fear of abandonment. And areas of improvement for myself. The biggest area of improvement concerning this resentment was allowing and, looking the other way while poor behavior was being demonstrated or hurtful things were being done. And yes. And this prayer is a lifesaver. If you're not interested in using all of the different questions to deep dive, and you just want something quick and a little bit less work to do, you can say this prayer. And I would encourage you to say it every day for a week or two. Even if you don't believe or want these things for that person, if you continue to say it anyway, it has a profound effect. Profound effect. So, dear God, my partner, like me, is an imperfect person. Please help me show my partner tolerance, patience, acceptance, and compassion. Release me from being angry. Enable me to stop clinging to this resentment. Please show me what needs to be healed within me. Please show me how to take a kind and tolerant and compassionate view of my partner. Help me accept reality as it is and show me how to be helpful to my partner. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So now when I just want to share a little bit about how eye-opening this was, not only for me, but for my husband. So growing up, what was modeled in his home and in mine and in many of our homes was, okay, if you say or do something that is hurtful to me, then it is okay for me to lash back out at you, call you names, belittle you, degrade you, in big or small ways. It doesn't matter. Sometimes verbal abuse is very, very subtle. So that's what was modeled for us. And that's what he did in his previous relationships. And it wasn't ever addressed or confronted. However, when I started working through resentments in my recovery program, this stuff came to the surface, and I realized how this behavior is repeated generationally over and over and over. And, it took quite a while, and it took many attempts for me when this behavior was exhibited. I'd say, hey, look, I know that this has been normal for us and for you in the past. However, I don't want to be treated like this anymore. When you ... I feel ... When you are keeping it on yourself and your feelings, it's very difficult for someone to argue with you. You're just talking about your feelings. When you call me a name, I feel belittled. I feel less than. I feel hurt. So it was just a matter of instances where I was bringing this to his awareness, and he was very receptive. This does not happen anymore. Our relationship has grown exponentially in the last few years, and it's really, really beautiful. And it started with me. So if you are having difficulty in your relationships and you're wanting something to change, start with yourself. When you change, other people around you have to change. They either have to change or they have to exit. And I really had to wrestle with the beliefs of my own self-worth. I'm worthy of being treated kindly. I'm worthy of having an adult conversation when my partner is angry and leaving out the hurtful bits, And that's what we have now. And our home is so peaceful. And we are very kind and gentle and compassionate with each other. And it is just so amazing when you can do this hard stuff and come out the other side. It's so freeing. It's so freeing. So anyway, thank you so much for coming and watching my video. I really enjoy putting this content together and helping people. I thank you so kindly for your comments and your likes and your shares. It's been wonderful so far building this YouTube channel. So I appreciate you all, and I wish you all a blessed day. Bye-bye.